In the morning of August 13th, 2018, the small town of Frederick, Colorado, seemed like any other calm summer day. The streets were quiet, the sun shone gently on the rows of suburban houses, and children played in yards while neighbors exchanged casual greetings. Yet behind the quiet facades of this typical American town, a tragedy was quietly unfolding in one particular home. Michelle Watts, a 34-year-old woman 8 months pregnant, had vanished along with her 2 young daughters, Bella, age 4, and Cecilia, age 3. At first, it appeared to be a routine missing person case, but the reality would shock the nation. Michelle Watts was beloved in her community. She volunteered for local events, supported friends and neighbors, and maintained close relationships with her family. Her warmth, generosity, and dedication to those around her made her disappearance even more distressing. In contrast, her husband, Chris Watts, a man in his mid-30s, worked in the oil industry. He was known in the town as polite, reserved, and quiet, traits that at the time seemed harmless, but would later be viewed through a chilling new lens. When Michelle and the girls did not return home, friends and family became alarmed. Michelle was a diligent communicator, regularly checking in with her loved ones. Her sudden absence was immediately recognized as unusual, and concerns escalated. Police responded promptly, initiating a thorough investigation. Officers reviewed phone records, text messages, and social media activity, and examined surveillance footage around the Watts home. Each detail was meticulously analyzed to establish a timeline of events. Chris Watts was initially cooperative, but soon displayed signs of nervousness and unease. During early interviews, he claimed ignorance about his family's whereabouts. Investigators began to notice inconsistencies in his story. He said he had tried contacting Michelle repeatedly, yet phone records revealed significant gaps in attempted communication. This discrepancy, combined with his calm demeanor, raised further suspicion. Days into the investigation, the truth began to emerge. Chris Watts confessed to the murders, revealing the horrifying sequence of events. He admitted that escalating tensions in his marriage, coupled with personal grievances over a potential separation, had driven him to commit an unthinkable act. Michelle was strangled at her workplace, and afterward, Chris killed their 2 young daughters. He then attempted to hide the crime by burying the bodies in nearby oil fields, a methodical and calculated effort to conceal evidence. What shocked the public was the stark contrast between his private actions and public appearances. Chris appeared in local media, tearfully pleading for assistance in locating his missing family. To viewers, he projected the image of a grieving husband and father, a man desperate for help. Behind the cameras, however, he was actively trying to erase any trace of his crime. He dug shallow graves and attempted to remove evidence of blood, but investigators later discovered enough to unravel the truth. Police used geolocation data, vehicle tracking, and surveillance footage to pinpoint the burial sites. Forensic teams carefully recovered the bodies of Michelle and her daughters from the oil fields, confirming the worst fears of friends, family, and the local community. The case quickly became a national headline, dominating newspapers, television, and digital media for months. Every aspect, from the disappearance to the confession, investigation, and trial, was documented extensively, captivating and horrifying audiences alike. On November 15th, 2018, Chris Watts was sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. He had confessed fully to the murders, sparing himself the death penalty, but sealing his fate for life, the public remained in disbelief. How could a seemingly ordinary man commit such brutal acts against his own family? Psychologists and criminologists analyzed his behavior, particularly the calculated facade he maintained for weeks while hiding his crimes. The Watts case also raised discussions about community awareness and the signs of domestic distress that often go unnoticed. Neighbors and acquaintances reflected on the subtle behaviors they had observed, wondering if anything could have hinted at the dark reality. The case became a reference point for understanding the complexities of domestic homicides and the unpredictable nature of human behavior. Today, the story of Michelle, Bella, and Cecilia Watts serves as a cautionary tale. It is remembered not only for the horror of the crime, but also for the importance of vigilance, prompt action, and the awareness that sometimes the most devastating threats can hide behind the most ordinary appearances. The Watts case remains one of the most disturbing domestic crimes of the 21st century, a stark reminder of the human capacity for deception, cruelty, and the tragic consequences that can result when warning signs are missed.